Fergie, the original Fergie, we find out more about her go-to cosmetic procedures. Erin, what are some of these procedures we're learning about?
She's turning 60 next week, and she's being more open than any royal before about, what she does to stay looking youthful. And she says it's a lot of help to look the way she does right now. And she says she has used Botox in the past, but now she's opting for more minimally non-invasive laser treatments. She's gotten a laser.
For decades, Sarah Ferguson, Fergie, the Duchess of York, has lived behind a glossy curtain of curated charm, practiced laughter, and expensive reinventions. She has always presented herself as the fun royal, the relatable duchess, the divorced ex-wife who somehow remained close enough to the monarchy to benefit from its protection, its money, and its resources. But that facade, built on favors, borrowed luxury, and financial rescue missions, has finally collapsed. And this time, there is no palace safety net waiting to catch her. This isn't a tragedy. This isn't bad luck. This is the unfiltered consequence of 30-plus years of overspending, denial, poor judgment, and a lifestyle far beyond her personal income. Today, we break down the hidden truth behind the financial implosion consuming Sarah Ferguson. And trust me, once you see the full picture, none of this will surprise you. The beauty obsession she could never afford. You might know Fergie as the original Fergie, the red-headed duchess who was once part of the most photographed royal duo of the late 1980s and 90s. But behind every photo, there was something she never truly hid: her obsession with cosmetic procedures. The world found out more about her go-to treatments in a televised segment, where even the host sounded stunned by her honesty. When asked what she uses to maintain her appearance, she openly listed the treatments like a checklist. Botox? Yes, regularly. Thread lifts? Absolutely. Laser facelifts? Multiple. Fillers? Of course. Mesotherapy injections? Yes. Skin resurfacing? Standard practice for her. And the most shocking of all, 20 million stem cells injected into her feet. Let that sink in. 20 million stem cells injected into her feet. Not her face, not her hands, not her knees. Her feet. Why? Because she said they made her skin look younger from bottom to top. Cosmetic surgeons and medical spas across Europe have quietly confirmed that she has been one of their highest maintenance clients, often receiving multiple different treatments in a single week. And the cost? Staggering. A single stem cell treatment alone can cost $15,000 to $25,000 per session. Laser facelifts range from $3,000 to $7,000 each. Thread lifts? Another $3,000. Fillers? Easily $600 to $900 per area. Put it all together, and you quickly see why Sarah Ferguson's beauty regimen wasn't vanity. It was a financial black hole. And yet, this was still only the surface of the problem. The Luxury Age Reversal Project. Around 2020, shortly after turning 60, Sarah decided she didn't just want to look younger. She wanted to become biologically younger. She joined an elite anti-aging program known as Super A, where celebrities and ultra-wealthy clients pay eye-watering sums to undergo supervised high-intensity training, medical monitoring, and specialized wellness routines. Her instructors? Famous celebrity trainers Josh Saltzman and Wayne Lay. These aren't ordinary fitness trainers. They're the kind who charge more than a CEO's salary for private, on-call commitment. Reports say she paid $65,000 just to have these trainers on standby. Not to train her daily, not to work with her full-time, just to be available. And here's the twist. She used them only twice that entire year. 2 sessions, 65,000 pounds. This wasn't a health journey. This was addiction to the illusion of transformation. She filmed herself declaring, "At 61, I am just beginning life." But the reality behind that statement was far less inspirational. While she publicly promised a new chapter, privately she continued sinking thousands into anti-aging experiments, premium dermatology clinics, spa retreats, and high-priced beauty technologies. She visited the Mayor Life Clinic, a medical spa known for its extreme detox packages, some costing more than a monthly mortgage payment. These were not yearly splurges. These were monthly habits. Her beauty routine wasn't a luxury. It was a lifestyle she built without the income to sustain it. And for years, Royal Lodge, The sprawling Windsor estate she shared with Prince Andrew shielded her from the consequences, until it didn't. The Royal Lodge illusion. Royal Lodge wasn't just a home for Sarah. It was her entire identity, her anchor, her illusion of stability. A grand multi-million-pound estate, surrounded by acres of manicured gardens, private drives, and forested seclusion. A place far beyond the means of any normal divorced woman. And here's the truth many forget. Sarah Ferguson didn't pay market rent. She didn't cover full maintenance. She didn't take on the millions in repairs. She didn't fund the staff. Prince Andrew did. Yes, the same Andrew entangled with scandals, lawsuits, settlement payments, and endless negative press. Sarah and Andrew divorced in 1996, but she never truly left the property or the lifestyle. While most divorced couples separate their lives, Sarah stayed in his home, lived on his estate, and depended on his finances. This wasn't a romantic situation. This was survival. Royal Lodge gave her housing staff status security, and the illusion that her finances were fine, except they were never fine. When Royal Lodge slipped away from her grip, the entire fantasy she built collapsed with it. The interview that exposed everything. During one particularly tense interview, the host asked a simple question. Most divorced couples don't live together. Are you and Andrew getting remarried? Sarah froze. Her agent, John, an Australian, jumped in. Delete that. I don't want to go down this Duchess route. The host replied, this is literally everything written in your book. And Sarah, frustrated, said the quiet part out loud. I know, but it's too tabloid. Her reaction revealed more than she intended. The rumors of remarriage were never about romance. They were about convenience, access, security, place, identity, and above all, money. Without Andrew's financial support, Sarah's lifestyle would evaporate overnight. And now, it finally has. The hidden debts, a lifetime pattern. To understand Sarah Ferguson's downfall, you must understand her history. This isn't a one-off crisis. This is a repeating pattern. A cycle she's been stuck in since the 1990s. Let's break it down clearly. 1. Chronic debt. She has been in debt multiple times. Tens of thousands. Hundreds of thousands. At one point, nearly $5 million. Each time, someone else bailed her out. Never her own income. 2. Questionable business ventures. She launched multiple businesses. Budge Project lifestyle products, weight loss programs, book deals, commercial partnerships, TV appearances, endorsements. Almost all of them failed or shut down quietly. 3. Wealthy men covering her bills. Throughout her adulthood, wealthy men have stepped in to rescue her from financial collapse. Sometimes friends, sometimes businessmen, sometimes advisors with questionable reputations. Let's not tiptoe around it. She accepted money from Jeffrey Epstein and later lied about the timeline. 4. Endless spending with no income base. She spent money that royalty didn't give her. She spent money the monarchy didn't fund. She spent money she didn't earn. Her entire financial existence was built on appearances, image-borrowed luxury, favors and other people's bank accounts. Now the people, the palace, and the institutions that once covered for her have stopped. The London house she sold at a loss. Things became even more obvious when she quietly sold her London home, once her so-called symbol of independence. Not only did she sell it, she sold it at a significant loss at a time when London's property market was strong. Nobody sells prime London real estate at a loss unless they are under pressure. They need liquidity fast, or they are preparing for a major life shift. And guess what was happening at the same time? The palace was tightening its grip on Prince Andrew. Pressure was growing from inside and outside the institution. Andrew was losing the privileges he once relied on. And Sarah, who always knew how to read signals, saw the writing on the wall. The free ride was ending. Which raises the big question, where did the house money go? We have only possibilities. And none of them are flattering. Paying off old debts, covering cosmetic and wellness costs, funding her lifestyle, financing staff, attempting another business reinvention, filling financial holes. She's been hiding travel costs, luxury retreats, personal expenses, silent settlements. Whatever the truth is, the timing was not coincidence. It was strategy. It was desperation. It was survival. The public humiliation. Book canceled, her newest children's book, something she hoped would rebuild her income, was quietly pulled before release. Publishers refused to comment. Why? Because her reputation crashed after the leaked email she sent to Epstein, long after she publicly claimed she cut ties. This wasn't just embarrassing. This wasn't just a scandal. This was financial disaster. Books, income. Brand deals, offers income. Public appearances, income. Children's series, steady revenue, and suddenly, all gone. Why her life is collapsing so fast. Now that Royal Lodge has been removed from the financial equation, every hidden cost is exposed. Trainers, cosmetic procedures, wellness retreats, dermatology clinics, stylists, clothing budgets, private travel, personal staff, maintenance, beauty tech, skincare spas, monthly treatments. When the palace closed the protective umbrella, Sarah was suddenly standing in the storm she created decades ago, and she is drenched. This downfall wasn't sudden. It was always coming. It was simply delayed by privilege. Now, the reckoning has finally arrived. Her new life in Portugal, a myth. Recent reports say Sarah Ferguson is preparing to move to Portugal, staying in a gated community in a $3.6 million villa owned by Princess Eugenie. Let's be painfully clear. This is not her home, not her property, not her purchase, not her stability. This is yet another borrowed lifestyle. Once again, she is living in someone else's house, in someone else's community, under someone else's finances. This isn't a fresh start. This is an escape, a temporary solution, another short-term fix, another borrowed cushion, and everyone sees it. The most uncomfortable part of all reports say she is entering the dating scene again, looking for a wealthy partner. The language used in articles is polite. The implication is not. She is seeking financial stability, luxurious lifestyle continuation, personal security, someone to fund her habits, another man to carry the weight she never carried herself. Instead of downsizing, restructuring, or building genuine income, she appears to be hoping for yet another savior. Sarah Ferguson had spent decades convincing the public and herself that she was untouchable, that no matter what scandal erupted, no matter what bill arrived, no matter who she angered, she would always land on her feet. But that illusion died the moment her protection was removed. Royal Lodge wasn't just a home. It was her shield, her fortress, her last piece of evidence that she still belonged in the world of royal privilege. The moment she lost it, the world finally saw the truth. She wasn't stable. She wasn't secure. She wasn't self-sufficient. She was a woman surviving on borrowed time, borrowed money, borrowed houses, and borrowed status. And for the first time, the mask slipped publicly. The quiet signs, everyone missed. Sarah had been sending signals for years, subtle, silent, and ignored. Her repeated hints about being misunderstood. Her sudden interest in self-help programs. Her obsession with wellness retreats. Her desperate attempts to remake her public image. Behind every cheerful interview was a financial fire she couldn't put out. People assumed she was eccentric. People assumed she was harmless. People assumed she had palace connections keeping her secure. But they were wrong. She was drowning, and palace insiders knew it long before the public did. The London home sale. A red flag. No one wanted to acknowledge her decision to sell her London property should have been the biggest warning sign. It wasn't just downsizing. It wasn't a fresh start. It wasn't strategic restructuring. It was panic. The market was strong. Her location was prime. Her property had every advantage, yet she sold it at a major loss. No celebrity sells real estate at a loss unless they need cash fast. They know something is coming, or the safety net beneath them is collapsing. In Sarah's case, all three were true. She knew the palace was no longer offering cover. She knew Andrew's situation was worsening. She knew Royal Lodge was slipping away. So she took the only option she had left: sell the property immediately, even if the price was humiliating. That single decision told the entire story, loudly and clearly. Her biggest secret: luxury. Without income. For years, Sarah had maintained a lifestyle that kings and queens would hesitate to fund. But she wasn't a monarch. She wasn't a working royal. She wasn't drawing a taxpayer allowance. She was living in a fantasy constructed from Andrew's generosity, wealthy lovers, high-profile friends, businessmen with hidden motives, dubious book deals, vanity projects, cosmetic procedure sponsors, and a constant stream of borrowed money. Her expenses were staggering, far beyond normal celebrity extravagance. $65,000 yearly on trainers, tens of thousands on facials, stem cell treatments costing the price of a car, international medical spas, luxury wellness clinics, high-end dermatology, cosmetic interventions every few months, a full staff despite no stable income. She built an entire life on the assumption that someone else would always pay. Now, there is no someone else. That is why everything has imploded so violently. Epstein, emails, and the book that vanished. The fallout from the Epstein scandal was not just reputational, it was financial dynamite. Her children's book was pulled from shelves, quietly, swiftly, strategically. Publishers cut ties without a public statement. This wasn't random. It was risk management. No company wants a PR disaster attached to a children's product. No brand wants years of controversy hanging over a book meant for kids. For Sarah, this meant lost revenue, lost credibility, lost partnerships, lost future deals, and lost trust. When that email leaked, the one she sent to Epstein long after she claimed to cut ties, it was the final nail in the coffin. Her brand became toxic overnight. And toxic brands don't get book deals. The Portugal escape. A repeat of the same pattern. Now, Sarah Ferguson is reportedly relocating to Portugal, not to her own home, not through her own financial stability, not through independence, but by moving into Princess Eugenie's villa, valued at $3.6 million. Another borrowed property, another borrowed life, another borrowed safety net, the framing, a fresh start. The truth, a relocation out of necessity. She cannot afford the life she insists on living. She cannot maintain the image she clings to. She cannot sustain the facade of independence. So she does what she has always done. She finds shelter under someone else's roof. The return to the dating market, and the real reason behind it, reports claim. She is re-entering the dating world, open to new companionship. But insiders know exactly what that means. She isn't seeking romance. She's seeking financing. Sarah has a long history of wealthy partners, rich benefactors, businessmen with questionable motives, men who funded her spending, men who paid her debts. Every relationship she entered had a financial shadow behind it. And this time is no different. She is looking for someone who can fund her wellness routines, her cosmetic procedures, her lifestyle, her retreats, her staff, her image maintenance, and potentially her new living situation. It's not love she is chasing, it's survival. The final reality, not bad luck, just bad choices. Sarah Ferguson's downfall is not the result of a single scandal. It is the result of decades of overspending, a refusal to adjust her lifestyle, taking financial risks she couldn't afford, relying on favors instead of income, ignoring warnings, ignoring bills, ignoring consequences, expecting the palace to save her forever. Now that the palace has finally stepped back, the truth is undeniable. She was never financially stable. She just looked stable because the palace allowed her to. Without royal protection, the unsupported tower she built is collapsing, piece by piece, bill by bill, scandal by scandal. The final question. With her books canceled, her home sold, her lifestyle exposed, and her stability in pieces. Is this the beginning of Sarah Ferguson's true downfall? Or will she find another benefactor to rescue her yet again? Because if history has taught us one thing, it's that Sarah Ferguson always finds someone to catch her, until one day she won't.